My name is Jon Sokol. I'm a writer living in Northeast Georgia. Um, I never knew William as I got introduced to his work later within the past few years. During the COVID years, I went and got an MFA at one of the low residency programs at Reinhardt University, and it was there that I really was introduced to William. A lot of the contemporary Southern writers that I have read over the years and studied at Reinhardt were inspired by William Gay. So I really started digging deep into William Gay recently over the past 3 or 4 years, and really got hooked on his style. His writing has certainly affected my writing, and for the better, I think. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm one of the newer people on the team. And I haven't really worked on a lot of the posthumous works that have been published, but I am working on certain projects that are going on now and will be going on in the future. Um, a lot of what William taught me whenever I started reading his literature was that he was a very well read. He read outside of his genre. He wrote outside of the genre that he was kind of pigeonholed in as a Southern author. And it really taught me not to be afraid to read outside of my genre. Definitely read those masters who have written in the Southern literary canon, but also don't be afraid to read outside of those, and don't be afraid to explore other genres. Don't be afraid to write in those genres. I think that's really something he taught me as a writer. The other thing is to not be afraid to put beauty on a page. Whenever William writes about certain things that are happening in his landscapes and in his worlds, they can be pretty horrific. They can be he can be describing abject squalor, but he still puts something beautiful on the page there. And it's really being able to explore both of those, that duality, that really kind of makes his prose come to life. When I think about the relationship between William's fictional landscape and the landscapes in his paintings, they're obviously connected, but I don't necessarily think that he was creating these worlds and then describing through his words what he saw through his paintings, or vice versa. I really think that he may have found that simply writing about the things that inspired him the most, his sense of place, he didn't let he wasn't restricted to just writing. He wanted to be able to express the things that he saw, the images that were in his head, to others and to himself. He wanted to express those in other formats, and I do think that his paintings complement his writing, and his writing complements his paintings. But I do think that they came from the same inspiration, but they were just two different ways that he chose to express himself. And I do think that he shows us that we have other outlets, other artistic outlets that we can express ourselves in, that we shouldn't feel like that we are bottled into one particular art form, that we can use prose and painting and poetry and photography and drama. There's so many different ways to express ourselves and to tell others what we are seeing, and the beauty and the horror that we're seeing. We can express that in different ways. I just think that these two, they do complement each other, and they come from the same inspiration, but they were just two different outlets that he used to express himself. I do want to thank Georgia Center for the book, and Lost Southern Voices. We've got a really unique opportunity for you to come experience Williams' paintings, as well as his writing. So on March 25th at 1 p.m., I'll be moderating a great panel with some folks who knew William and are very familiar with both of his art forms. It's going to be on the exhibit in the art exhibit on the fourth floor of the Decatur Library. We hope to see you there.